What's going on, guys, and welcome back to GTA 5. Today we're here at one of our live stream meets. This is so cool. We actually have 15 of you guys, which is so crazy. Thank you guys all for coming out so much. As you guys know, we have 3 new drift cars as part of the newest update here on GTA 5, and I have built one of those 3. So we're going to be throwing the drift tuning on all 3 of those cars. We're going to be starting here with the Sentinel Classic, then moving to the Nebula Turbo, and then we're going to be driving the Cipher once more. And not only am I going to be ranking these drift cars, but I'm going to have everyone else rank them too, so that we have a good idea of what everyone's favorite is, then second place, then third. So without any further ado, guys, I'm going to get the drift tuning going on this thing, and then we're going to hit up a couple drift spots, get some slides, and see which car is our favorite. All right, guys, here we are with the Sentinel Classic Widebody here in the LS car meet, drift tuning right up top. Get the wallets out, 190K, no brainer. Let's do it, guys. So first impressions on this car so far, one lap in, is that it is much lighter feeling and much more controlled than the Cipher, which is pretty nice. The Cipher is very planted, but it feels heavier, whereas the E30 feels very light and nimble. This car feels phenomenal. I'm really enjoying this. Now, it is the rain, so I gotta take, oh, see, that's one problem with it, though, is that bush is taking me out a little bit. It's a little harder to go through things like that and make it out alive. So having a little bit more mass to the cars definitely helps when it comes to, contact of any sort. Obviously, trees are one of those, and bumps from other cars is another. But it is nice to have a little bit of a lighter feeling car too when it comes to, controllability and just being a little bit more nimble if you do need to adjust your line. So like anything with drifting, guys, there's positives and negatives. Stevie absolutely killing that jump there. That was sick. So we can get back up on his door here. That car looks so great, man. That's awesome. I really need to check out some of the liveries. Stevie actually just posted a livery video going through all of them. So if you guys haven't checked that out, I'll leave that in the link in the description down below as well. Oh, let's go, Stevie. Yes, sir, man. That's awesome. So hopefully the rain will be clearing up for us soon, so we can give this thing a little bit more of a fair test, because obviously these cars are going to feel different in the dry than they do in the rain. Let's go back on his door here. There it is. Stevie with H1 following up now. I think the rain is alleviating, which is great. Definitely prefer to test these things all in the dry, but you get the daylight you get. I was actually just saying to the guys, I feel like since the update, it's been raining more in this game. Let me know if you guys feel the same if you're watching this on YouTube, but I feel like it's just been raining an absolute ton. Oh man, some contact there. Let's go. Let's try this jump again here. There's all 4 off. That's awesome, dude. Let's go. Oh, and there's the dry too. I think the puddles went pretty easily for us. Usually the puddles stick around for a little bit, but at least up here at U-Tool, there's really not too much. Okay, so now that we have some nice dry road, there's Ruckus on our door in that Nebula. Nebula's gonna be next, guys. I already have one of those built up. I've actually had one of those cars like since before I started doing YouTube. I've had that car in my arena, so that'll be fun to throw the drift tuning on that next. But as of right now, man, the E30 feels great. It's super light, super nimble, and really easy to correct and get some nice doors here. So I'm definitely spoiled a little bit with this lead here from Stevie Wonder Kid. Like I said, I'm going to leave his latest livery video, as well as a link to his channel down in the description below, as well as the boys H1 and Dilly will be down there too. Let's go, guys. Oh, Stevie gets a little extra angle and pulls out of it. Is crazy. And that Nebula in the wall. So speaking of the Nebula, guys, now that I've gotten a few laps here in the E30, I think we'll swap out to that Nebula Turbo and fly back into the city real quick, get some drifts in that thing, and then the Cipher will round off the list and we'll do our ranking. All right, guys, here we are pulling the Nebula Turbo into the LS car meet this time. We're going to shell out another 190K here, get this thing going here. Wallets out. There we go. Drift tuning applied. One thing I love about this car is it keeps that slammed fitment with the drift tuning, which is so sick. Wish they all did that, but maybe someday. Let's get this thing back out to free mode and get some more drifts. Let's do it, guys. First impressions, Nebula Turbo this time. Here at the beach, early in the morning. We waited for nighttime to pass, because I know the nighttime footage isn't too popular. But just driving this thing on the street on our way down here, it does feel like this thing is kind of a halfway point. Oh, man, it feels pretty low. It definitely is low because it's slammed, but it feels like a nice halfway point between that E30 and the Cipher. So it feels definitely smaller and lighter than the Cipher, and it also feels a little bit heavier and boatier than the E30. So that's really nice. It's definitely nice and slow, which should make for some really nice doors here as we avoid the cops and whatnot. Try and follow H1 here. H1's got the cleanest lines for us to follow. This is so sick as the sun rises over Los Santos here. Number 2 out of 3 new drift cars here, the Nebula Turbo. This one's been around since the old days, man. This was always a super viable drift car, like even before low grips came out. This was just one of those cars that you could hop into and absolutely kill it in, and so it's so nice to see this thing finally get some love with the drift tuning. Obviously, there's so many cars that we would love to see. Oh, I hit the pole. But obviously, so many cars that we would love to see on the drift tuning. But this one is definitely one of the ones that needed it, and so definitely glad to see this thing get some love on there for sure. So this car definitely the slowest of the bunch, right? I feel like it's You know, it doesn't feel like it's lacking on power for its grip level at all, though. Like, I feel like, at least on this line, it's not starving for any wheel spin or any more power, which is really nice, too. I feel like some of the cars... And again, it might just be that I'm too used to the old tuning, but the RX-7, for example, really felt starved for power, and like it just had too much grip for the amount of power it had post-update, and so it's nice for this car to have some more power. Now, we're following a Cipher up here, which is actually going to be really interesting. I'm going to see if I can cut by H1 here and follow that Cipher. I think that's Dilly. It is Dilly. Let's go, dude. We got cars. Good brakes, dude. This is crazy, dude. 15 people here at the beach is insane. Let the boys by. Let's see if we can follow this thing and see how much faster the Cipher is on the slower section. So, yeah, that thing is leagues faster. You can tell it just took off right there. So we're gonna have to really get heavy on the gas and drive inside. Traffic's killing me. Little figure 8 crossover action. This is getting intense, man. But you know what? What better way to test a car, right, than just to throw it into a chaotic situation and see how it does. But I will say, this thing does feel much slower than that Cipher, and I feel like it would have a hard time keeping up for sure, and so that's really interesting. I kind of figured that part of the reason for the power decrease in some of the old school drift tuning cars was to balance them out, and it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case, at least between the Nebula and some of the faster cars, so definitely interesting, man. I don't know why, other than for balance reasons, Rockstar would have pulled power out of some of the older cars, but obviously there's still a difference in speed between some of these cars here. I mean, the E30 felt so much faster than this car right off the rip, and so I think we got one more spot coming up here, guys. We got the Cipher. We're gonna drive it, and then we're gonna compare all three of these new drift cars and see not only what my favorite is out of the bunch, but what the guys think is their favorite too. All right, guys, here we are at the Cipher now. We just recently posted a video on this car on the channel, and I know a lot of you guys aren't super crazy about it handling wise, but I gotta be honest, it feels super smooth to me. Definitely important to get the handbrake and the left trigger in at the same time. Little traffic jam there. There we go. We got Stevie leading in his E30 up there. Moo and Wall to follow. Let's go, guys. It's about to go down. So it's super interesting to follow different cars in this car. Oh, I don't know, man. This one to me just feels so capable and smooth. It's got plenty of power. It's going to be really hard to pick, but honestly, I might be a little biased because I'm super used to the Cipher. I've been driving this car a little bit longer than the two newer cars, but or newer to me. I know they all came out at the same time, but it just feels like the most balanced option to me out of the group. Oh, I don't know. This is going to be so tough. Oh, see, that is one thing that Stevie pointed out in his videos, which, again, guys, make sure you check out Stevie's channels if you haven't already, but one thing Stevie did point out is that understeer in his video, too, and so, you know, I think that, for me, I use that left trigger and handbrake combo a lot, and so it kind of mitigates that, but it does understeer in spots, too, and it's going to be tough to pick, man. I think for me, the Nebula's a little bit slow to be the favorite out of the bunch. I think for me, it's going to be between the two BMWs, just absolutely running over that carcass. That's going to change the ad rating for this video, that's fine. But we are getting some absolutely sick tandems here in the Cipher, and so, at least for me, this one's feeling like it might be the winner. I think I might have to drive that E30 one more time for comparison's sake before we make our final vote. But this thing just feels so good. Let's go, dude. These tandems are crazy. Let's go, guys. So crazy, there's dead bodies everywhere, which is concerning. And I was saying earlier too, guys, I feel like a lot of what you pick as your favorite out of these three drift cars is going to be preference-based, right? Like, depending on your driving style, what you like to drive, you know, if you're a little bit slower, kind of lower tire grip type drifter, you might really prefer the Nebula Turbo. If you like faster cars that are really light and nimble, you might really like the E30. And if you like that kind of, I guess, like middle ground, you know, with the Cipher, where it feels a little bit more like just a smooth street car. And I do feel like, at least with the Cipher, there is a huge difference between wing and no wing, too, for just the way the car feels. Right now I have the wing on this thing, so it's definitely a little bit more gripped up in the rear, whereas wingless, it felt a little easier to rotate. These traffic cars don't know what they're doing, but I'll take that as an opportunity to go out to E30 one more time and see if it's going to take first or second place. All right, guys, one more shot with the E30 here. Let's see if it's going to take the cake. I don't know if it's just the fact that I've driven the Cipher the most or not, but I do feel like the Cipher is probably my favorite out of the group, which is crazy because I know, at least for Stevie, it was third place, but I feel like for me, the Cipher might be the favorite. I think the more seat time I get in it, though, that's gonna change. Oh, I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. The E30 feels so good. It's so smooth, and the more I drive it, the more I feel like the E30 might end up being the favorite. Oh, this is so tough. The Cipher definitely is heavier, and right there, I feel like hitting the brakes would have rotated the Cipher a lot easier, whereas the E30 kind of sticks to a little bit more understeer in places too. Maybe even a little bit more so than the Cipher when you really want it to rotate. I feel like the E30, you want to be a little bit more intentional with the throttle to get it to rotate, whereas the Cipher, you need to be more intentional with the brakes to get it to rotate. And so that's really interesting as well. Now, you can definitely left foot brake some rotation in with the E30, but I think in spots like this, you really got to make sure that you've throttled it over to get it to rotate when you transition. And so some of that lightness too, and this again could just be a matter of seat time, just makes the car feel like it's getting away from me just a little bit compared to the Cipher, which feels really directed and sturdy and smooth. And so, oh man, is this gonna be a tough choice? I do think they all have their pluses and their minuses, to be honest. H1 just hit a little bit of that understeer up there as well, so that's really good timing, honestly, as we talk about some of the differences in why the cars understeer. But I do feel like all the cars have their own positives and negatives, right? And so that's why I feel like this ranking, there's really no objective right or wrong answer for what your favorite out of these three is, guys. I think it's really going to be based on personal preference. It's all going to come down to what you really prefer as a driver, right? And so Stevie might really prefer the E30 or the Volvo, and H1 might really prefer the Cipher, and I think that's okay, man. I think that really just depends on how you like to drive. And I think the cool thing about drifting is, depending on your driving style, as long as you know kind of how to tandem, you'll be able to get some doors. So I am going to make my official ranking decision here based on just a little bit of driving here today. And so I don't want you guys to think this is my final word. I'm sure it'll kind of change as I get more seat time in each car. But I think I'm going to say that my favorite of the bunch is going to be the Cipher. I think my second favorite is going to be the E30 here, and I think my third is going to be the Nebula. But I also want to make sure that I give the guys a chance to vote, so we're going to head over into our Discord, link in the description down below too if you guys want to check out the Discord. And I'm going to have the guys vote on what their favorite cars are too, because I think it's gonna change depending on people's personal preferences. And I know Dilly, for example, Stevie, they're not super huge fans of the Cipher, where for me that was my first pick. So we're going to head over to Discord and let the guys vote as well. All right, guys, so votes are in from the boys as well. We got 6 for the Cipher, 5 for the Nebula, and 2 for the E30. So the Cipher is going to win the day, both on my personal pick and the boys, but it barely is beating the Nebula, which I actually had in 3rd place with 5 votes, and then the E30 is pretty comfortably in 2nd. So I think the general consensus here is try them all and see which one you like. If you guys are on Xbox, you can always come through a stream and drive one of these cars with us. I'm sure me or any of the boys would be happy to share our cars with you guys to let you drive it so you can make a good pick for yourself as well. But I don't think there is any standout favorite. I think it's really based on personal preference, as the boys have shown with their votes too. It's super split. It's definitely not like anything is a clear winner here. So my advice to you guys is going to be drive them all and see which one works for you. Guys, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video or found it useful at all, please feel free to leave a like down below and leave a comment letting us know what your favorite drift car out of the new bunch is for yourself. Once again, guys, if you made it this far, I super appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.